Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif. And Baka's still missing. He's still moving. He didn't disappear. I promise everybody.
He's
missing.
moving. Missing in action.
They're doing
Missing
some
in action.
electrical stuff today, though, so let's hope he doesn't fry himself out or anything. Good luck, Baka. Good luck. Don't touch the live wires. Turn off everything.
Oh, don't burn your beard.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
I would much
majestic.
rather him get zapped a little, than burn the beard.
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe he's got like a beard scar in it. That would be cool as hell, like a little
beard
like
scar.
singed beard scar in it.
Like, just little.
But like, I got this in the fight with the lightning. I got struck by lightning.
Struck by lightning. We're like,
Dude,
no,
it's
Struck by
110
lightning.
volts of electricity. What the fuck ever.
then we all laugh because we know the real story.
Oh.
I burned
were
myself
like,
getting
really?
popcorn out of the
True about
microwave.
Baka? He survived an entire lightning strike.
The
He
entire
fought the
lightning
lightning god. So we have to talk about him so that, it doesn't feel weird that he's not here.
I mean, y'all
Yes.
talked about me and the Chia thing.
Yeah,
It
we did.
happened. Mm-hmm. So it could be having a beard.
He's gonna have like a Harry Potter, jagged scar in his beard. Is that what we're talking here?
A lightning bolt shaped
Yeah.
scar in his beard.
Oh.
Exactly.
What if it's like just like white? Like
It doesn't actually scar him. The hair just turns white.
Yeah, the
and
hair
the
just
lightning
changes the
bolts out
color.
of shape. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. Baka,
Yeah.
we need to get on this. Let's hook up some
Make
electricity,
you
man.
badass, bruh. Make you badass.
I don't know if that's how it's gonna work, but let me just touch this live wire to your face. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll look way cool when it's healed.
Hold on. Let us film it so we can at least make a little money off of it.
Don't do that. Don't play with electrical wires, children.
Don't do it.
Yes.
It's an awful idea.
And adults, dumb adults, please listen. Don't do that.
Hold my beer.
Oh, what's everybody been playing this week? What games has everybody been playing this week? Screw
Oh,
you.
damn it. She stopped it. I was so close.
I got
was
it.
so glad. I've been playing We Happy Few.
Okay. Does it make you happy?
Yes, it does, actually. I laugh a lot. It's a really fun game. It follows 3 different individuals. I just finished the first person's storyline, I guess. Started the second one. I don't know who the third person is yet because I haven't gotten that far into it. But in the first story, you are introduced to who you follow in the second one, which is cool because you already have a kind of an idea who that is. But you don't really talk to that person that often. It's just one of those things where they're kind of an acquaintance
They're
and then
there.
you follow their story. Yeah. And so it's cool to kind of see that. There are some elements that are very BioShock-like. And there are elements that if you're going into this, hey, I love BioShock. This looks like BioShock. I want to play it. No,
You're wrong.
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do
wrong.
it. As much as I love to watch Grif try to reload a wrench,
It works, man.
Yeah, the weapons in this are all melee weapons, pretty much. So,
So it's
don't
more
go in
Assassin's
thinking-
Creed.
Yeah,
It's like Bio
no.
Creed shot.
yeah, it's
No.
kind of weird. It's kind of weird. You just have to kind of play it. It's where you have people that are drugged up that you have to fight, and then they look a lot like splicers, and then you have people that look kind of like clickers from Last of Us.
Okay.
They even have spores that come out of their head and things, and you have to make sure that you don't get sick. You've got stuff to fight infection. You've got all this stuff, and it's very interesting. And you can explore as much as you want. Go in and pick up stuff to craft and all that. And don't be dumb like me and keep picking shit up and then having to keep dropping things or crafting things because you're overloaded and you have not gotten back to your base.
I know how that is. Don't worry.
Yeah. So.
Fallout.
But it's a really good game so far. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping that it doesn't have like a shit ending because I'm so invested now. Like I don't want the shit ending.
I'm in too deep. It better be good.
Right. It's cool when you take the joy too because you like to take the joy and the little butterflies come up in the air and everything's on there and your guy walks like this.
You're on
Got
drugs.
his arms swinging back and forth. that part's fun. Like, you've got that, and then I'm really bad at stealth a lot in this game.
Like someone else I know.
But I'm usually pretty good at stealth. But in this particular case, I'm bad at stealth in this game because you kind of have. There's not a whole lot of places to hide. I feel like they could have done it better to where you could kind of skip around areas if you needed to use the stealth ability. But sometimes if you're not high on joy, or they don't think you're high on joy, then. And you don't want to be high on joy, because if you are high on joy, then it makes your character sick, and then like it's this ongoing thing. So it's like they kind of force you to do it, or you can try to go around the outside of the town and get into the back way. But they don't give you a whole lot of space between buildings to be able to move through. So it's very interesting. I like it so far, though. The characters are great. I'm not 100% sure, but I haven't even looked it up. But I want to say the guy that's playing the main character at the beginning, Arthur, he's been in another game. I don't know if it's Stanley Parable, because I haven't played Stanley Parable in a long time, but he's in another game. Because I just know that voice. But it's pretty neat. And then I want to say I played something else, but I can't think. Oh, I started Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yay! One of the good ones.
Yeah, I just played the very first part where you go through as Jacob for a little bit, and I'm about to start as Evie. But I really liked the gameplay as Jacob. Like, I was really surprised going through. I was like, oh, this feels good. Like, it doesn't... I'm cool with being on a boat and Black Flag and all that stuff, but this is cool. Like, I feel like kind of a badass in England, and, in London. It's
There's
great.
definitely a difference between Jacob and Evie's playstyle. With Jacob, I felt the same as you, where it's like, I'm just a badass. You want to get a fight? You want to fight me? Let's do this.
Yeah.
And as Evie, you're like, all right, look, I'm smarter than my brother because he's an idiot. He's all brawn. I'm obviously the brains. Let me go about this all stealth-like. Like, it feels like two very different characters and two very different playstyles, even though you theoretically could play them similarly. It's almost like you don't want to. So
and anybody that hasn't played the game yet, I really wish somebody had warned me ahead of time. Get ready for a 25-minute intro into the damn game before you ever get to play as anyone.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I was like, and okay, cool, I get it. Okay, and cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember that too. I was like, oh, okay, then I'll just wait.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good though. Like, so far,
I'd forgotten about it. I would have warned you. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, they're no big deal. I just like to give you a hard time. No big deal. But no, it's fun so far, and I've enjoyed it. I just wish that I picked it up sooner, I guess. And I kind of wish, and this is going to go with something we talk about here in just a little bit. I kind of wish that they would go back, now that we've got the Switch, and take some of the better games, whether that's the Ezio series or whatever it happens to be, and put them on the Switch so I can go through go through and play that.
Ezio, you were right.
Ezio the first time? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and do that. So, I'm frozen, aren't I? I can tell by expression.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So I wish they would do something like that, because I think it would be fun to be able to just pick that up and play it, because I don't know how about you, but Assassin's Creed to me, like, I enjoy the games, but I would much rather go in and be able to play for a certain amount of time, be able to stop, and then get back into the storyline when I need to or want to. It's almost a casual play for me in a lot of ways, but I play I don't want to say chapter, cutscene to cutscene usually is what I end up doing on that one, instead of just sitting down and marathoning that game.
I can't. There are games, especially story games like Assassin's Creed, where once I'm in, I'm buckled up and ready to go for a while. Like, I can't stop cutscene to cutscene, or, the chapter to chapter, however you want to put it. Like, okay, go do this one objective. Okay, you did this, good job, and then I'll do this later. No, I'm like, let's do as much as I can until I am so tired I cannot see if I'm invested in a game like that. And especially with Assassin's Creed.
My eyes are bleeding.
Yeah.
I got one more quest.
So, I'm a good time sinker, though. I don't live the casual life, I guess, in a lot of games.
Jesus.
I just can't.
I don't. Well, but
It's not
a lot of
my
times I don't
style.
have a choice, because I've got somebody screaming at me that they're usually shorter than me by a lot, and children. In case you didn't pick up on that one. So a lot of times it's something I can just pick up, and that's part of the reason I like to Switch too, is because I can just hit a button and I know it's going to be right where I left off. So
Yeah. I'd just be like, shut up, small thing, I'm busy.
Best parent ever.
Yeah.
Where do you think punting started from? I mean, small little angry things yelling at you, you just punt it.
Punt it?
I don't think you should.
You just punt
Don't
it.
do that,
No,
everybody.
Yeah, you can't just put a mattress up on the wall, and whenever it starts yelling at you, you just
No.
have it stand in front of it, and then you punt it into the wall. And it bounces off the wall, and then
Please
they have
don't do
fun.
that.
You just
And
throw it
then
into
they
the wall.
have fun.
This is when you pop a disclaimer at the bottom of the screen. It just flashing.
The only small
Just
things that you
joking,
should
folks,
punt
you
are
really
gnomes
wouldn't
and
do that.
goblins in World of Warcraft. Oh, and the little puntable marmot or
Marmots.
whatever it is.
Marmots.
Yep.
Figured I think that's all I've got because I figured y'all's was gonna last a sec.
What?
Yeah, I know y'all. There might have been a release of something this week. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this week. Okay.
That was Monday.
That feels like a fucking decade ago.
Monday was the new World of Warcraft expansion. Battle for Azeroth is out. We are in the thick of it. Chicken and I both have new cap level characters, and we're working on secondary characters at present.
Now, have you
crazy.
beat the plot line that they've
No,
set up for this
because
expansion?
we need gear and rep in order to progress to some things. Like, I think the quest that we're on now, I think, Chicken, didn't you say we have to go to a mythic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not mythic gear yet,
only.
so...
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason we're working on secondary characters is because Chicken and I usually have a division between church and state as far as our PvP characters versus PvE characters. Although Chicken, with your paladin, he's going to do both with the paladin,
Yeah.
really.
Well, okay, with my paladin, the paladin fits my style where I've got a big ass sword, I hit really fucking hard, and if I just want to rush at people and beat the shit out of them, I'll play her because it's just so much fun. You pop the angel wings, you're glowing, and then you're beating the shit out of whoever's at the other end of your sword.
This is
while
for
they
the
fucking
light! Smash, smash,
scream
smash.
and fucking try to claw away from you, and you're like, no, bitch, get back here. You pull
What
them back
about
in and just
justice?
finish them. And then I have my rogue. Stealth, quiet, quick, don't ever see me coming, barely ever see me leaving. And then I kind of like to just play the background with him. So, two extremely different play styles. So I like to have them both. And in the PvP expansion, I need both of them. Smash your face, stab you in the back. Smash your face, stab you in the back. Whichever I'm feeling in today.
I have very different... Like, the first tune I leveled was my warrior. And I have not been a warrior main before. This is my first time, like, hardcore going with the warrior here. He's one of my newer characters, and I'm trying to play him as a tank. I have a lot to learn because they changed a lot about tanking between Legion and Battle for Azeroth. And I need my groups to be helpful with that. Sometimes, like, they changed some of the tanking stuff. It takes longer for tanks to ramp up aggro now. So you can't just have your group run in and pop everything, all of their cooldowns, all of the damage they could possibly do right out of the gate, because then everybody's gonna die. So,
Well, they wanted to do it so that it requires more skill. It's more skill
yeah,
based.
I know. It's just getting random people to understand that. But then again, that's what they did with Cataclysm too, though. The first, like, couple of weeks Cataclysm was out, it was very skill-based in dungeons. You had bosses that had actual mechanics. It was like mini raids almost. And then people complained that it was too hard. And they changed it in like a month.
But that's why they came out with heroic and mythic difficulties afterwards. Because normals, like when you first hit cap, they're easy to do. You can kind of move through them, get gear and whatnot. They're for training. Heroics, okay, things are starting to be a little more difficult. You got to make sure you pay attention to what is going on in the fight, but still, gearing up, getting ready for the final part. Mythics, you better fucking watch what's under your feet. Like, you got to be careful in Mythics.
Don't stand. Why are you dead?
Shit will kill you fast. And then, and then you got your mythic pluses, which add different effects to all of the mobs in there, and
I think the hardest one that
keystones
we've
and
done
shit
so
like that.
far, that will be the hardest on Mythic, is the one where the boss mind controls.
We've
and you
only
have
done
to
a
turn to the
couple
mind
of them
control.
so far.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, I think as far as what we've done so far, that one's going to be hard, because in the middle of the fight, somebody gets mind controlled, essentially, and your DPS is theoretically supposed to turn to that person and do a bunch of damage so that it releases the mind control, whilst there are floaty orbs in the room that if you run into, you will be stunned. Every time, one is tethered to me, so I'm trying to run towards the person that's mind controlled so I can just stun them with my orb, which gets rid of it and stuns them, and they run away from me.
Well, the thing is
Stop
if
running!
you can...
If you're mind controlled...
In coordinated groups, it would not be that big of a problem. You take everybody who's not mind controlled, put them right here, put the one person that is mind controlled right here, and have all of the orbs come and hit that person at one time. They're stunned for like 20 minutes, but I mean, you're good.
I'm like, got the bum, like, come here, boss, chase me. Stop running from me, Demon Hunter. I need your body.
Oh, gosh.
Why are you running? Stop resisting. It's been a lot of fun, though. And if you have not leveled yet, you're unsure what character to go for, but you just want to live, Discipline Priest. Always live, never die. Everything you do heals you and you have a bubble on, so you don't take damage. You just live forever. Jesus.
I do gotta say, I really, really, really love how they've broken the PvP up, the realms up. Now you can choose to PvP or to PvE. While I was leveling my rogue, there was somebody complaining about, oh, there's a horde out here just killing people. And the dude is like, you signed up for it, shut up. Yeah, but they should be able to just come over here and you signed up for it, shut up. Go back to Stormwind, turn it off, you Care Bear, and then come back out here and kill your little mobs. If you want to deal with them, it is a risk you take.
Well, it's only a 10% difference to have war mode on and off, which is nice. It used to be, if you rolled on a PvP server, you don't have any option.
10% XP, more resources, and all of that. More Azerite and everything like that.
Yeah, so you get extras for doing war mode. I get it. But it's only a little bit of a difference. You could be fine leveling without it and doing.
So it's not like they're giving you a 25%.
Yeah, it's like if you play war mode, you got these benefits. You're looking for PvP. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. You still have your battlegrounds, and you don't have to worry about the horde in the world. So
priest.
So how do they do that? Like, because you got to remember, I know nothing about this.
That's fine.
I watched some of it. So. I'm your voice for those people that don't play this game. All right, because with the war mode on, it's giving you the extra 10% in the PvP. Mm-hmm. During the stream, you mentioned that for this particular expansion, that you will have two continents where one is running through with the Alliance and the other is running through with the Horde. So do you not do any type of PvP for that character?
They can come over because they've got dailies in our. Actually, one or two of their dailies is in our main city, which is weird to me.
Yeah. Okay. So the way it works is we've got our main towns on each side, and world quests will pop up in that main town to create conflict. Me and Grif were doing one. We found it over there, and we're like, oh, we're gonna kill this lady. So we killed a rare elite plus. Like, she's very strong. She killed me several times, and then Horde started popping up, and we're like, okay, they must have a daily over here. The two rare elites that were fighting were for the dailies for both sides. Like, the Horde had one over here, and we had one over here. They're forcing conflict. So we kicked their ass.
It was a rep paladin and a prot warrior. So
there was a hunter too that we killed.
Well, no, we were the rep paladin and prot warrior. There was a hunter. We killed two rogues. And then they ganged up in a group. It was like two hunters, two rogues, and somebody else, a paladin on their side. We went
2v3 during the first one. We killed a rogue. We killed the paladin. Almost killed the rogue. Like, I'm talking 10% health. Then the paladin came back and rezzed real quick and used his lay on hands, which basically heals his target for 100% of his health. Fully healed him. Killed us both. We came back. Killed both of the rogues. And the paladin left. And then a hunter showed up. Killed him. A prot warrior showed up and we killed him.
Good lord.
You're in our town. We're going to whoop your ass. So...
Do you get a bonus for being in your town versus being in the...
No, but in war mode, you get a bonus. You get bonus to honor. So, more honor for you. I like it. I like to kill Horde. That's my thing.
Well, there's a point that you can get to where you become a bounty. You kill 10 or more of the opposing faction without dying. And everybody can see where all the enemy people can see where you're at on the map. So...
Ooh.
Oh, it's getting good, by the way. The Alliance is actually starting to take the initiative. While I was out in one of the zones, people were getting fed up with it, and they're like, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start a group and wipe these guys out. So they started building up groups to deal with the Horde, and the Horde don't expect the Alliance to work together because we never have. So next thing you know, they jump one Alliance dude, and like the whole fucking army just rains down upon them, and you just see them shit themselves. They're like, well...
It's really nice. It's one of those how does it feel moments. Because
how is a group called the Alliance alliance not working.
Well, to be
with
fair,
each other.
usually
I know.
the alliance is very live and let live. It's like, okay,
Right.
you killed me, that's fine. There was like 30 of you and one of me. I'll just res up and go do my thing. And alliance has usually been outnumbered. Like for a
Okay.
long time, it was like 15 horde to every one alliance on a PvP server. So even if we did want to group up, we'd still be massively outnumbered. But now we're to the point where since war mode is optional, it's starting to even out, and the horde is not used to the alliance going, all right, boys, there's as many of us as there are of them, let's do this. So
Fair enough.
they're used to having numbers on their side, which is part of why some of them are not very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's.
I also would like to thank both of you for purchasing the game that I'm pretty sure I was consulted on for the amount of puns that's in it.
Oh my god.
Just saying.
So there's a guy in there called Colonel Tenders. He's a chicken vendor.
Yeah. And Britannia Spears,
Yeah.
spear seller.
She's yeah.
Totes, the goat.
Yeah. Totes
gives
the
you-
goats.
Goats tote, which is a big bag. Totes my goats.
I like the reference that they had a Yogi Bear reference that I saw.
Yep. They had a Yogi Bear
A
reference.
Winnie the Pooh reference.
Yep.
Yep.
There's a bunch of poop jokes.
Oh
butt
my god,
jokes.
the amount of poop
I
jokes.
heard about the Harry Potter reference.
Yep.
There's a hippo named Grif. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, that
Newbie
one.
called that one.
Oh,
Newbie dialed in on that one.
I can
There you
hear
go.
him right now somewhere from Texas going, I said hippo. No, you called me fat. You said hippo. I got you. And then Blizzard made it a reality. There's a hippo named Grif. Ugh.
So yeah, we've been playing a shitload of WoW. We'll come back to that in a second. The other game that we
Cool.
played.
Oh, wait. There's another game?
Yes, we played it twice. Overcooked 2. Did you forget already?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
I played that as well. I totally forgot about that too. Go ahead.
Holy shit! We're almost done. We were on the last level.
And apparently, if you don't max out the last level, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count as a finish.
So if you don't do the 3-star, what's the final points on that one?
1,500.
1500.
Holy shit!
Basically, what I think is supposed to happen is you've got the first stage, and you do all the easier recipes, and then it drops you down, and you do the second stage, and then you go to the third stage, and then once you finish that, you finish the level. But we only finished 2 stages and didn't get to the third. I mean, it's a 15-minute stage. 15
And the kitchen
minutes.
keeps changing. Like, your ingredients disappear because you're changing menus, essentially. And in
The
mid...
carts will change where they're at.
Yeah, it's like,
and-
okay,
oh
so
my
throw away
God.
everything we don't need because this will not be on the next set. Now pull out this, this, and this. Chop this. Where's this? Why
Yep.
did it all
it's
move?
so crazy. We started going back and 3-starring everything. I think we got
That's 'cause
everything
we
in
needed
stage
more
1.
stars.
Everything. It's like Mario, where you have to have so many stars to unlock a certain level.
Yeah.
So we had to go back and started finishing out some. We finished all the stage 1s, all the stage 2s.
all the stage 3s,
all the
and
stage
we were
3s.
working on 4, but we had
Yeah.
enough to finish the 6.
Yeah. We had enough to unlock the 6th stage. So.
And the
We'll have
Kevin
to-
levels are dumb. Screw you, Kevin.
Damn it, Kevin!
Kevin, you're stupid, and I'm not making food for you.
Don't me being the Kevin.
Kevin's dumb. Kevin set up a kitchen on a street where all of your stuff, your cooking stuff, is on the curb, so you have to stand in the street, and there's traffic. Kevin, you're a dog, and I get it, but Jesus, man. Come on.
All he says to that is bark,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bark, bark.
God damn it, Kevin! Why? Oh.
Don't play in traffic, Kevin.
Oh, you're so mean to the doggy.
He's the one that put us in traffic. We got ran over like 37 times in one level.
Yeah.
But let me tell you how great it is, though. The first time you see the zombie apocalypse that's toast.
The unbred.
It's called
The
the
unbred.
unbred.
Yes, I know. And so the unbred, the first time you see them come up, and what was it they call them? The book was like the Necronomicon.
It's the Necronomicon.
Yeah, Nomnomicon.
The Necronomicon.
Like, I was like, this is fucking brilliant. This
Yeah.
is awesome. And then you could drive your little car and like,
Oh
hit
man,
the bread.
all 3 of us having control of the bus at the same
Oh
time.
my god.
At one point, Chicken got so fed up because we were all trying to we were just screwing around basically.
You ever tried to fucking drive a bus where everybody's got a hand on the wheel and they're just pulling in different directions?
So he
I'm
kept putting us
boosting.
in this corner because he got tired of it.
I was like, fine, I'll put bus in a corner.
Nobody
Just like,
puts bus in a corner.
oh god. Someone's
Too
honking the
funny.
horn, someone's boosting, someone's trying to pull this way, someone's pulling that way. Oh god.
Beep beep. That's a fun game. I told Foxy about it. I told her we'd play when she came down.
Very fun. Now y'all are playing on the Switch, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm playing on Xbox One because I was playing with a friend that she asked if I'd get it, so I went ahead and got it. So I played with the Xbox One. I really want it on PC. Like it's one of those where it's like I kind of want it on every platform because I think I have a good time. Now, did y'all ever play the first one?
No, I saw people play it. I almost got it. It was $20, but Overcooked 2 was close to coming out, and everybody said the reviews are basically like if you bought the first Overcooked and then bought the second one, there's not much of a reason. Like they improved it a little bit and added some stuff, but it's not really worth both.
Other than the fact you're dealing with different levels, no reason to do it.
Yeah, and if you are just getting into it, Overcooked 2, it's $25. It's so fucking worth it.
Oh yeah,
so,
it's great.
It's so fun.
Like it's so much fun. I had a great time with it. The most sanitary thing you could ever do in a game, which is throw
food on the floor.
Oh my god!
Raw chicken on the floor. Chop this chicken. It's on the floor. I'll put it in the frying pan in a minute.
I swear, half of some of the levels were just swimming through the food on the floor, just going, "I need buns."
Yeah, at one point last night.
This bun's okay. Let's just wipe this raw chicken off.
The next one will have a jump button so you can jump over food because sometimes it's in the fucking way. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
Last night we had a level where my sister ended up being by herself, so she was trying to throw ingredients over to us, and chicken was burgers, and so he's standing in this like pile of cooked hamburger meat and lettuce and tomato. He's like, buns, I need buns. And so I'm just imagining this guy at a restaurant standing knee deep in food and like tucking stuff, going, which one's the bun, which one? Nope, that's cheese. No, what's this?
we spent on one of them because there's one where you got like a little island that's in the middle that's got stuff that you have to fry and do all that stuff, and then you have two raised areas on the other. One's the area where you send the food out, and then on the other side of it's where some of the raw food and stuff was. It took us 3 times to realize that there's fucking portals to walk across the other side because you have the stairs that are on both sides. I'm like,
there's one where the portal moves too.
Oh god!
If you walk through it at the wrong time, like I did, I got pushed in. I got pushed into the portal by him scooting past me. He shoved me into the portal while I was over the abyss, and I just fell in and died.
I boost like crazy. I don't care who's in front of me. I just push them. Like I have pushed both of them off so much. They're standing near the edge. Like, get out of my way.
I threw a piece of chicken
I had that
last
same
night,
problem because I'm a booster. Like I was there, I started learning to boost, and everybody's like. Because everybody's kind of walking around, I was like, "No, boost the shit out of it! Just go!
Just push everybody out of the way."
I threw a piece of chicken and knocked him off the boat with it last night, though. One of the boat levels. I was close to the edge, and I was trying to throw it on the countertop. To be fair,
yeah, that shit is ridiculous. You can throw shit and push people out of the way. Here's a bun. Oh no! Oh well, whatever.
That's too funny. It's such a good game, though.
Yes,
yeah,
it's so fun. Find some friends to play it with. It's couch co-op or online. You can do both. So.
Yep.
Which I did mine online. Y'all did yours co-op.
Yeah, couch co-op.
Couch co-op.
Yep. So, entertaining. Everything seemed seamless on my end. I'm assuming the same way with the
That's
Twitch.
so fun.
The Switch. Yeah, the Switch is so good.
Yep. Yeah. So, words. Fuck words. I'm just gonna make up shit now.
Well, you guys, now that we're halfway through, want to talk about some of the news stuff?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
What do you want to start with? There's like all of 3 or 4 articles.
Well. All right, then I'll just do the World of Warcraft one. We talked about people playing that night. World First got 120. He did from 110 to 120 in 4 hours and 17 minutes. A little over 4 hours. This guy spent so much time. Him and his guild, to be fair, he's in Method, which is the number 1 guild in
I would explain.
In WoW. Like the number 1. And he has 2 flunkies with him who are doing everything. Flunkies.
So nice.
Basically,
they're probably still good at what they do.
When you choose something like this, you have Big Dog and the 2 flunkies, or however many flunkies that you want. Everything they do is fed into him, and he is the one going forward. So, I mean, technically, you're just a flunky.
So he did the same thing with the streamer that got...
The Pirate Legend guy?
Pirate Legend? Okay.
Lame!
Yep. I didn't watch it, but I'm pretty sure it was basically them going out and doing things and grabbing stuff, and then... killing the creatures for him and him helping kill the creatures and then him being there to turn in stuff. And you have to do a lot of, like, skips and steps to get to be so fast.
Right.
So, and they spent a lot of time on the beta getting every single minute planned out to get to 120 immediately.
Lame.
And to give you a little comparison, all right, so this guy took 4 hours and 17 minutes to go from 110 to 120.
Yep.
In Burning Crusade, it took 28 hours, shitloads of teamwork, and an entire guild, including a 40-man raid, to get him to 70. From 60 to 70, it took 28 straight hours of full guild work to get him there.
Is that because they're making the game easier for newer players that are coming in, or is it because of the fact
I think part of it is that we all understand the game so much better now.
No. They have shrunk the leveling process to be more streamlined, and to make it, because most of the content is end loaded, where you have your story while you level, but everything that's important is at the end now. Like, as soon as you hit cap level, it's time to do your world quests, it's time to do your rep, it's time to do your dungeons, and it's time to get your item level up. That's where the core game is nowadays. Where in Burning Crusade, it was more about the leveling process.
Yeah, it was more about grinding out the levels than it was about the end game content. Now it's more about the end game
content
stuff.
Rather than the process. So.
Which is good and bad. I can see the pros and cons to both of those methods.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they're coming out with Battle for WoW Classic, so the people that want that longer leveling process, they're gonna have it for sure.
Word.
But, yeah, that was the WoW thing.
As earlier we were talking about, I'm not gonna get the one that's gonna make me mad yet. We're gonna go back to the one we were talking about earlier that I mentioned games that I like to see that moved over to the Switch and things like that maybe were remastered or whatever it happens to be. But one that we had already been rumored to be coming out or whatever has been announced, which is Diablo 3 for the Nintendo Switch is coming out. It does have Nintendo Switch. Is coming out, and it is it's going to have some Nintendo stuff exclusive into it. The impressive part, Chicken and I were talking about ahead of time, to me and him, the impressive part was the fact that it's going to be at 720p. And then if you dock it, it's at 960p, which is pretty impressive. I mean, the game's, 4 years old now? How old is this game?
Yeah, about 4 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a 4-year-old game, but still that's pretty fucking impressive.
The impressive part is that they're getting to run at a constant 60 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's because I was thinking about this earlier. Why games can be ported over to the Switch easier now is because I feel like companies are developing their games more on the PC rather than the consoles and whatnot, and you can develop it, tone the settings as you need them, and then kind of take that setting style, port it to whatever you need it to. Be like, all right, I need this to be on the Switch, so we're going to take these settings and then make it run on the Switch. So
I would agree with that.
So they've got more option or more flexibility developing on the PC.
And what we talked about, we talked about ahead of time too. I'm interested to see what third parties are going to do with this, because the last console, which the Wii U, was not really supported by third party. So I think when you got companies like Blizzard and Bethesda and companies like that are continuing to release games on this format, it allows them to look at a new way of thinking. How is this being condensed? How is this still getting the same quality? And so as they continue to create games, it can only benefit the gamer, in my opinion, because what would end up happening right now, if you think about it, we've got like a 50 gig game, and maybe that game could be switched down to 25 gigs, so we're not having to use as much space in order to get the same quality of that particular game out there, because they're having to figure out how to shrink it and put it on a little bitty cartridge, or downloadable and put on the actual Switch itself. So that's pretty fucking impressive. It really is to me that they're able to do that.
Oh, and the game, by the way, you said 4 years old? Actually, no, it's 6.5 years old.
Oh,
wow.
Man.
May 2012.
When did the expansion for that come out? Was it a year later?
The Reaper of Souls. Let's see.
Has it really been that long? Jeez.
Yes, because it came out in 2012. Reaper of Souls came out in 2014, so 4.5 years ago.
Okay, so Word. To be fair, that's when I played it. Is when Reaper of Souls came out because they released it for the Xbox.
Yep.
And when they released the Xbox, Reaper of Souls was included in it. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still 6.5 years. Holy shit.
I mean, that's nothing. Diablo 2 came out in 1999. And
that's
then
right. I was in college. I remember that.
No, 2000. And then Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction came out in 2001. Yep. And then we didn't get anything until 2012. So 11 years later, they finally released another Diablo game. Hopefully it's not going to take that long to get Diablo better. Diablo 3.
Diablo better.
Yes.
I would like to see him do a hybrid almost on that.
Aren't
because you all seem to like... They're doing a remastered version of Diablo 2. But
Are they? We don't have that confirmed. They have 2 more projects in the work. Or they have 3 Diablo projects in the work.
Diablo projects at BlizzCon this year?
Yes. 1 is the Switch. 2 are unnamed currently still.
So could be remaster.
Could. Please, Blizzard, why do you do this to me? All I want in life is a Diablo 2 remaster.
That's why. It's because you want it.
I'll be interested to see if they end up doing Diablo 2 remaster. I'm also interested to see what they do with Diablo 4-ish, whatever they're going to end up calling it.
Yeah.
If I say ish because it's going to be : whatever. They're not going to do Diablo 4 anymore.
The Switch thing also makes me a little nervous for that thing too, is because they might be trying to figure out how to port it down smaller into what I'm scared of is a mobile game. I could see Blizzard tapping into that because they don't have any other mobile game except for Hearthstone, and it makes me hurt to think about them transforming the Diablo franchise into a mobile game. And a streamer that I watch is 1,000% convinced that the next Diablo game will 100% be mobile. Like no doubt at all.
I don't see that. I do see. You said there's 2 more projects Diablo related. I could see one of them being a mobile version of the game,
yes.
not like a mobile version of one of the games. Could be the first Diablo game, could be something in that particular case. But I don't see them going, okay, and PC, fuck you, everything's Diablo. I mean, everything's on mobile. I don't see them doing that. And their main base is off of a PC. I just don't see them doing that. I would like to see kind of a hybrid of what they did before with Diablo 3. Like, I enjoyed it from a console standpoint because I'd never played a Diablo game before. I had, of course, my friend Maldus. He played it a lot when I was around, so I knew what it was and it looked entertaining, but I never got into it. And I know it's very complex compared to Diablo 3, which is where a lot of people have a problem. I'd like kind of to see a hybrid, so those people like you that had Diablo 2 and played it and had a lot of time and didn't necessarily care for Diablo 3 as much because it was a little bit more streamlined because they wanted to put it on consoles, to kind of have a hybrid of the two. Figure out a way to do that, whether that's, just setting it up to where somebody that does have a controller can do, a way of making different options, or making it to where the PC version's a little bit more in depth. Either way.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to see. We'll get to find out here in about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when BlizzCon is?
Mm-hmm. November.
Oh my god, It's in November?
September.
It's always in November.
October. Actually, 2.5 months because it's almost September now.
I don't know why, but I thought it was in September.
No, it's always been in November.
Now I'm sad. I've been lying to myself, apparently.
But yeah, that's everybody kind of saw this coming when they saw that whole fucking light Diablo Switch thing. We called that shit when they leaked that like months ago. They're like, no, that doesn't mean anything. It's just some leaked picture. And everyone's like, yeah, sure. And then they're like, hey, look, it's Diablo for the Switch. Yeah, we know.
Really?
I had no idea that was coming.
Yeah, none at all. Time to get my angry face on.
Okay.
One of my favorite games from when I was a kid, when we talked about this before on the show, was Spyro. Mm-hmm. And they're doing the trilogy, of course, and we talked about the fact that on the disc, you're only getting the first version of it and second, third, and one of the things that Chicken and Grif and Baka and I all said was it's probably because they've got more things that they've got to work on the game on 2 and 3 in order to do that. Well, it's now being delayed till November, and I think it was due in September, wasn't it?
Yep, September 21st.
So now it's being delayed until November because it needs more love and care. Does this mean we're getting 2 and 3 on a disc? They haven't mentioned that. It would make me happier. But at the same time, I'm kind of pissed because it probably doesn't mean that. It probably means we're going to have a big giant fucking patch that we're going to hand you off of the shit that's already on the disc, and you're not getting 2 and 3. Fuck you.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Yeah, you're going to get the disc, and then you're going to be like, well, here's what we've been working on for the last couple of months. Yeah, thanks, assholes. Like a 12 gig update.
Thanks for that thing that nobody asked for. Also,
Right.
thanks for not giving us the thing that everybody did ask for.
It irritates the shit out of me because it's like, okay, you're not getting 2 and 3, and we're gonna delay it, and we're just gonna delay it. That's all we're gonna do. We're not gonna tell you any information on that one.
Who's in charge of this one?
I don't
I
know.
I have some serious questions.
It's fucking Activision, but I don't know who is.
I mean, there's part of your problem. Is Activision and EA talking to each other these days? What's going on?
I don't know. There's loot boxes in Spyro. I'm quitting.
Oh my god.
Loot boxes enforced always online.
Spyro 2 and Spyro 3 have loot boxes. It's like when you go to the little chest, you have to put in microtransaction so many coins before you can open one of the little chests. Oh god, too funny. And then we've got 2 more articles left. One is serious, so then we know it's going to take a minute. The other one is that Valve accidentally launched their Steam.tv.
I love accidentally launching things.
Somebody it's just the button sitting there. Someone's tired. He leans on it. It goes live. I mean, what are we doing here? Is someone accidentally pushing a button?
Well, here's what I figured out, okay? If you all remember, about 6 months ago, there was a guy in Hawaii, all right?
Yeah.
Hit a button accidentally that
The
supposedly
drop-down menu was so close together.
That was supposed to be like a nuclear bomb or some shit was going to end up hitting Hawaii. I can't remember exactly what the whole story was.
Yeah, it was a ballistic nuke or
something like that. It was about to hit it. That guy got fired for that. Went to work at Valve, and he was in charge of the Steam.tv button.
And then this happened again.
It happened again. Dude's
hey man, run the
hired
weekly
for anything
test,
else
okay?
again.
Alright, here's the actual service. What?
Never getting hired again, ever, anywhere. We can't trust you with buttons, man.
No,
We just
hell
can't.
no.
Dude's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Always wears a t-shirt, even if he's got a suit on. It's like...
He just puts the necktie around his neck with the t-shirt. Yeah.
White t-shirt with a freaking necktie. That's all you get.
No, it's one of the tuxedo t-shirts under his sport jacket with the necktie on top of it. He's classy, okay?
Or he could just wear a dickie. Like the little thing and just put it over the front of it.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Because those have snaps, not buttons. So he's good. He's good. Snaps he's good with. Buttons, no.
Maybe not.
Can't do buttons. Oh my god. I don't... Is this really surprising to anybody that Valve is doing Steam.tv?
No, they need it.
I mean,
they need
they've
to
been
try to keep the
offering
competition going.
The streaming service for a little while now, and it's on the front page of Steam. Even you're scrolling down, and once you get past all your recommended stuff, and then it's the streamers that are live right that second and everything. They've been kind of leaning towards it, and I think gradually trying to shoo people over that way. And now they're just going to be like, "Here's the service, just get there, okay, people? We're tired of trying to hint this to you."
I think that's kind of the deal. I don't think they... I feel like, because they came out with their streaming service before they ever did their movie service. And I feel like they didn't promote either very well, but they didn't promote the streaming one as well as they did the movie one. Because the movie, remember, it used to be, it was annoying as shit. You click on, and the first thing that would pop up is a recommendation for a movie. And I'm like, I'm here for video games. That's why I'm here. I'm not here for movies, but thanks. Now what they're doing is basically you click on, for those that don't have Steam, don't know, basically you go on and you click on a game that you like, and if somebody's streaming that, it pops up their stream, whatever the highest one that's on there. I don't really watch the streaming stuff on there. Chicken and I were talking about it.
I've watched a couple of them, and I mean, they seem fine. It's just...
The only time I've ever used that is when Red or Baka is like, I want to show you this thing in my game. Let me show it to you. Here's my stream thingy.
Yeah, I do like that. That is super convenient.
Baka and Red,
but then you're just sharing it to your friends then, right?
No, you're going full live.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
really?
else can jump into your stream and whatnot.
Yep.
Oh. I didn't realize that.
Both times that was Planet Coaster too, for Red and Baka both.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
I have no idea
Grif
what it does,
now streaming on Steam. Need to put it on there. I'm going live for these two weirdos. So if you want to come in and watch me play.
I mean, hell, if you're ever sitting back, relaxing, and watching shit, or just playing something on Steam, you can hit that go live button and just leave it on the side. And people who are looking at that game will see that you're up there and can see what the game is about, which I really like that about Steam. I think that has a niche market. It's just that Steam has to kind of fix it to be right, because I mean, how awesome. I've watched trailers and pictures and shit like that, but I mean, people, while you're looking at game, especially during like the Steam sale, okay, this guy's playing it. I don't just look at it and see what it looks like and whatnot. He's playing it live and whatnot, because they do that on big releases, and they have, except it's a little overbearing, because when you go to their page, like, you'll see the normal page and whatnot, it'll just drop down this big ass stream and whatnot, and it's got all these fancy do that, and I just go hide. Then it pulls it back
I hit
up.
the hide
It's
button. Yeah, Microsoft has had it for a while, built into the Xbox before they even purchased Beam to make Mixer. They had it for Twitch too, to where if you went onto a particular game's page, you could click on that game's page, and when you did, down at the bottom it would say clips, and then under that it would say people currently streaming. And so you could click on that, and it would pop up somebody's Twitch channel that was somebody who was streaming on there. Now, of course, it does it if it's a Mixer channel. And so it's a cool concept. I like the idea of it. What I'm very interested to see is since they're creating Steam.tv, if that means that if I clicked on that, if it pops up a browser or if it stays inside of
the Steam platform.
In the Steam client. That's what I would be interested in, because I have both Twitch and Mixer's apps. You know, they pull up, and I don't like them. I don't use them. I use a regular browser because one reason is there's more options available on the fucking browser than there is in the app.
Yeah, I have
it
no
doesn't
idea
make sense
why.
to me.
Yeah.
But that's one reason I do it. But I just prefer the browser, and maybe it's because I can also search other things while I'm doing that type deal. But I just prefer that. And to give you an example, like with Twitch has an option for you to be able to download games for free if you're a Prime member. But you have to go onto the browser to be able to accept those.
Yep.
And then go back to the app in order to play those.
Consolidate.
That is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I'm like, why is this a thing?
Why is
so I've got like
consolidation so
30
hard?
games or some weird shit like that, because they give you like 5 a month or whatever. And I've got like 30 games that I don't ever play because I don't ever open up the app. But they're there if I wanted to play them. And I need to start looking at that before I start buying games on Steam. Because
You accidentally already own this?
Yeah, I think I already own this. But yeah, it's very, very odd. I am interested to see if it gets streamlined. If it gets streamlined on Steam, that's cool. I think that would benefit them, since nobody else needs to be streamlining their shit. Neither one of the other bigger ones do. So.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. The last article that we have is one that we didn't cover last week. If you remember, at the end of the show, we said we would wait. And this has to do with Riot Games, and it has to do with gaming industry in general, but this specifically has to do with Riot Games.
Yes.
And about the way women are treated in the workplace in an area that is traditionally been predominantly male, and more women have got more involved with it, and what goes on along with that. Basically, the way that the article starts off, it starts off about one woman who worked there, who seemed to be being groomed for a promotion, but somebody else just kind of leapfrogged her into that position.
I know how that feels.
And it is one of those where it is believed to be, and based on the rest of the article, I would say it is, it's believed to be that she was leapfrogged because of the fact that she is female, and the way that she's been treated a lot of times is like, wow, the fuck, that's not right to say to anybody, whether you're working with them or not. But I want Grif's opinion on this, because she just read the article fresh. She's fresh. We were a week behind on a lot of that, unless Chicken went back there and reread it.
No, I've got a pretty good memory.
But your first impression off of what you've read, Grif, besides the fact that you're probably going to turn the color of your hair. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I know what it's like working in a boys' club kind of environment, which sucks. It's awful, and I definitely get the impression based on the several things that were talked about over the course of that article that that's what it is it's a boys' club where dudes work together and feel like they're in their living room instead of at work in a professional setting. And one of the things, like, I'm all for let's have fun, let's be, friends and whatnot at work and all of this stuff, and I get that, but there's also a line where professionalism is still there and required, and it seems like these people don't realize that line exists. It's very much like bros before hoes, and you said that out loud at work, and you're like, first of all, fellas, I ain't your hoe. Secondly, I'm at work. We're getting paid to do a job here. Let's actually do some work. Stop playing with each other. I mean, stop.
And it's okay to have a good morale in the fact that like if everybody wanted to joke around and that's the environment that you've led. I mean, from what I understand, even though he was a fucking hard ass, Steve Jobs had very relaxed with the rest of his employees. The relationship was there because he wanted to have that creativity come out. Valve is supposedly that way, to where people can just kind of come and go and work on different projects they want, as long as something's getting done. They don't really care. But this is bullshit. I mean, the way I look at it, this is total bullshit, because you've got people that are busting their ass to do things, and whether it's male, female, or whatever they identify as, the calzone, whatever. If they go in and they're doing their job and they're doing it right, and if you're looking at two individuals and their credentials are exactly the same, and I mean both educationally and their work ethic and everything is exactly the same, then you've got to find something else other than that to go on. It doesn't need to be gender. It doesn't need to be race. It needs to be something else. Pull them both into a room and go, guys, we're going to have you sprint. Or we're going to have you play a game of Pong or some shit, if that's the case. But if you're grooming somebody for a position, and then you throw somebody above them that was never needed to be in that position to start with, that shows so much favoritism, and it pisses me fucking off, because that's not how you run a business. You don't. You just don't. And you don't treat people that way. It irritates the shit out of me to see this on there. And I will say that this article is written very weird in the fact that it starts off talking about an individual and then goes along with the rest of the group, where normally you would think you would kind of mention the individual, go along with the group, and then go back to the person's story. But it is interesting, because otherwise it just sounds like one person complaining right at the begining. And if you don't get into the heart of the article, that's all it sounds like. It sounds like one person bitching and there's no proof.
I kind of get why, though. Like, you had mentioned that last week, and I kind of thought about it a little when I was looking at the article, and I feel like they were trying to set the tone of how they went about this research, which is, we got this one source that said this thing, so we wanted to look into it, and the further we looked into it, we realized it wasn't one person, it was everybody. It was like multiple former and current employees. It's not just, and I think that's how they wrote the article, it was their journey, basically, through the article, and how they came about finding all of this information. So,
and one of the things that got me on here, and I learned a long time ago, don't put shit in writing.
Yeah.
And if you're using a corporate email to create a list of women you quote unquote want to penetrate, you have fucking issues. I get it. There are times when people are drinking, having fun. Oh, she's hot, she's good looking, da da da. Or he's hot, he's good looking, da da da. I wish he was single. I wish she was single. Those conversations happen with adults. It happens all the time. Not a big deal. The minute you create a list to send around to people to create more lists of people we want to penetrate, that creates a poor work
I think I would
environment.
create a counter list and call it people I want to punch in the face at this company.
Yeah, people I want to throat punch. I mean,
People I think don't understand what subtlety is.
yeah.
Also, I will punch them.
Right? It just
Subline.
it is a bro culture. One of the strange lines that I thought was weird in here too was the fact that they mentioned that somebody complained about the fact that if it was an all male room, there was no females in it, that the guys would fart in each other's faces. And I'm like, I'm not sure how to take that comment. Okay, first of all, you're adults. Stop being dumb. The other thing is, I don't know to be offended as a guy because women aren't getting their faces farted into.
It's
see
supposed
what
to
I
be
mean?
work ethic. You shouldn't do that. Okay, if you want to go home and shit on your friend, that's fine. Do whatever you want at home.
Not my
But
friend anymore.
Don't walk into a meeting and fart in your friend's face. Hey, what's up, dude? Man, yeah. All right, I'm going to take my seat now. Keep your ass over there. I mean, there's a certain level of ethics that you need to
Professionalism.
have in the workplace. Like, take your bro code, leave it outside the door, come into work, you're at work. The person next to you is the same person as the other side of you. They're all just employees. That's how it should be. Treat them with respect. Whether man, woman, dolphin, cat, I don't care.
I want to work with dolphins. What job can I get where I get to sit in a
Marine
boardroom meeting with
biologist.
dolphins? Boardroom
Marine
meeting.
biologist.
Dolphins.
Yes.
One of the things too, if you are using terms like that, you're trying to do values that go according to what core gamers have. Change the fucking culture.
Yeah.
Core gamers is a term that's anybody that plays a fucking video game, and not everybody does that. And if you think core gamers behave this way, change the culture.
Yeah.
That's so fucking
We
stupid.
hire core gamers. No, you hired a bunch of boys for your little frat club. Y'all all about 30 years old. You need to start acting like it.
Well, and
Yes.
the guys, Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill, I guess is how you say his last name.
Yes.
Are the co-founders of Riot Games. They show a picture in the article of the two of them sitting in these giant chairs at BAFTA, and I'm looking at it going, yeah, I can see these two farting in their friends' faces. I really can. Like, I don't know that it's them doing it,
I'm sorry.
but I'm kind of looking at it going, yeah, it's those guys. I knew these guys in high school and college. I know these guys. I mean, these type of people. It's the way it is, and it's just they are probably. I want to give them benefit of doubt, and they're not the ones doing it unless there's just a bunch of scapegoating going on. But at the same time, they are in charge of their company. They need to do something about the culture that's there. And if this happens to be the issue, something has to be done. And it doesn't need to be done once somebody has brought it to light. You as a company need to bring it to light and do something about it.
I almost want to be like, because I think this is a top-down problem. I think it starts at the top and it's just been proliferated because this is obviously the culture that Riot has had since their inception, which means it started with the founders. I think the main thing should be like, all right, fellas, those of you that are married, how would you feel if this is how your wife was treated at work? And I hate to break it down on that level because it shouldn't have to be like that. You should just think this is another human being. I'm not dumb. But apparently this is where we need to go with it. This is for all of you really dumb folks out there. How would you feel if that was your wife or your mother in that role being treated that way? Your wife or parent or anything.
Because there are a lot of people, and we know based on the area that we live in, this happens a lot. Women aren't treated necessarily with the respect they should be in lots of parts of the world, whatever it happens to be. Right? I know it's crazy. But there is one consistency that I've seen over and over again. That they might treat their wife, maybe even their mom, not with a whole lot of respect. But the minute you mention their daughters, their mentality changes. Because they don't want anyone treating their daughter that way. They don't want the guy that's currently treating their daughter very nicely, that might be dating her at the time. They don't want him even around a lot of the times. If my daughter, I can tell you right now, if my daughter said, I would be fucking there. Like Mr. Beck or whatever his fucking name is, Merrill. They would be having a meeting with me because I would be up there going, what the fuck is wrong with you people? And I would probably be arrested and sued, but whatever. Because you can't you just don't treat people this way, and especially nowadays. Race, gender, it doesn't matter what it is. Human's a human. Fucking treat them that way. Mm-hmm. Just treat them that way. And gamers, you can't use core gaming as a damn
excuse for your bad behavior. Don't be like, oh, I'm like this because I'm a core gamer. No, you're like that because you're an asshole. I'm a core gamer too, but I'm not like that.
Yes.
And they wonder why their game is so toxic.
Yep. It's because that's just how they proliferate. Their entire
it's because
community.
the ooze seeps out of the company into their fucking game. And it's how it has been over the years.
Riot is the same company that had to fire an employee for saying that they, on their Discord, their public Discord, saying in a public chat room that they hoped that somebody else got cancer and died because of something.
Let's see if I can actually find that.
I can't remember which employee it was, but they were talking about a toxic player, and I get it, like, you're frustrated and everything, but you still are a representative of a company in a public space saying that you hope that somebody gets a specific deadly disease and dies from it. You can't do that, man. You're not 15. This is not high school.
Okay, let's see. Now this is pretty fucked up. Let's see if I can find exactly what he says. Okay. Now this is quote by him. It was Riot Sanjuro.
Yeah, all the Riot employees have their online handles as Riot whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he wrote in the Discord because I think they were talking about Tyler 1. He was an extremely toxic, got perma-banned.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like he reformed. They gave him his account back, and now he's like at the tipping point again because he's a shithead.
He's toxic. He's just garbage human.
Basically, he said on their Discord, he looks like a damn homunculus, as well as, honestly, it's fine. He'll die from a coke overdose or testicular cancer from all the steroids, then we'll be Gucci.
Okay, you're not 15. First of all. And secondly, nobody says then we'll be Gucci. What is wrong with you to start with?
I was, what the fuck? Stop saying fetch. It's not a thing. It's not going to happen. Stop doing it. I mean, it's like, come on, man.
I mean, that was
Gucci?
a
Really?
small glimpse into what...
Yes, that's their internal culture right there.
Everybody was super fucking shocked by this. Because it was like one little glimpse behind the curtain. And then when this article comes out and just rips it open and everyone's like, whoa.
They're all like that.
It's all like that. Holy
shit.
shit. No wonder it's so fucking... Yeah, exactly.
Well, they have on their hiring page up until latter part of June, they had written up there, we want passionate gamers who are talented professionals. Loving what you do is mandatory and you won't fully appreciate a gamer's perspective unless you are one. We're not looking for the feedback verse. You need conviction, passion, and horsepower to excel at Riot. Mm-hmm. Now, what it says now, whatever you play, if you make it to play, you're a gamer. If you make time to play, you're a gamer. So they went from like this 3-line thing to one simple line to put down. And it could be they were changing whatever happened. But I'm going to say a lot of times if you think about what's being said in that, and I'm not going to speak for a woman because I'm not one, but conviction and passion everyone has. But when I think of horsepower, I don't usually think of that as a feminine quality a lot of times. And
I just read that as drive.
I guess so, maybe, but I just don't like a mixture with conviction and passion. To me, it's. But again, I interpret it differently
masculine to me. Like horsepower to me just makes it seem like self-motivated. You've got to have the drive to do this, want to do this.
I can see that, but I can also see I could turn people off. One of the things that got interested in the article to me too is they talked about STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which didn't really get pushed on to our culture until the late 1990s. And so 1998 is really when it started getting pushed and making sure specifically women, or girls in that case, were being taught and pushed towards those particular fields because those are fields that they weren't prominent in. And so if you think about that for a minute, and this goes back to the fact that we know that these guys are around 30-something years old, and they're going to maybe bring people out of college and everything else. This field, in general, not just at Riot, but everywhere in the gaming industry, you're going to have 20-year-olds, because we're looking at 20 years of the STEM program being pushed on, making sure that women are being pushed towards those. That field is going to continue to grow, but it's not there yet. So I would be interested to see over the next 10 years, because I think it was 30-something% of all the people, or not even that big. It was like, it's 35%, I think, I read, women in STEM programs that are in STEM occupations. So it'll be interesting to see how this grows, how many more women get involved in this. But this also goes back to, 3 years ago that we dealt with the whole backlash of women being in gaming and all that type of stuff with Sarkeesian, and it's like this battle on the internet. And you had
that's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, and you had the Depression Quest lady that I can't think of her name off the top of my head.
Zoe something or another.
Yeah, and her ex-boyfriend going at it on Twitter as well. That whole battle is not going to stop, but the more education we can do and the more that we can say, this is the, to me, if I'm a company and I know that the average for the women in this particular industry is, let's say, 20%, I try to hire 21%. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And do it don't do it just because you're trying to hire women.
Base it on merit.
Base it on merit. But at the same time, turn around and go, look, we're above the average, and we're working harder to get everyone else to that too.
I wish I could remember what company it was, but I read something about somebody's hiring. The way that they did their hiring process was they had basically their interns or their assistant staff get all of the resumes and everything together, and then change all of the names so that they were not gendered and not nationality focused. So they were reading it based on, like, basically they just fill it in with like DC comic names and things like that. Mm-hmm. And they'd go through and hire based on what they actually, or set up interviews based on what they saw on the resumes, instead of anything else that might possibly color their need to fill a diversity role, or such and such and this, that, and the other. So I wish we could all do that. Let's just do it that way.
I mean, that seems like a perfect way to do it. You just ignore name and ethnicity and just focus on what they are.
And gender. I mean, you just give them really androgynous, middle-of-the-road character names and whatnot.
Gender, none. Name, none. Ethnicity, none. All right, what is this person?
Well, you got to be able to differentiate them and everything, and I guess putting them as fictional characters is better than just a serial number. We'll just name them.
This is resume number 1.
Well, and I do know that there are some companies that are out there. That's part of the reason that they have it's usually a 3-step process. So you have one where you go through the resume, and then you do an interview with the person on the phone, and then if you make it past that one, then you do the interview in person. And so there's a whole 3-step process that's there, which you theoretically could do the same thing, because you could be like, okay, this person's awesome. We're looking at their resume, and their resume doesn't tell me what sex it is or anything like that, but their credentials look great. Let's call this person. So they set up the interview, and it's usually another person than the people that looked at the resume. They pass it on to the person that's going to do the interview. Now that person gets on the interview and has a conversation with them and ask them different questions, whatever, and then they go to the next process where they'll narrow it down to, let's say, 2 or 3 people, and they had 10 to start with, whatever, in order to create that. And it's another set of people that are talking to that individual. So you have multiple people talking to the same person, and to start with, they didn't know who it was. There are companies that do that. There are companies, Apple's one of the companies that they go through your resume, they do a phone interview, then they fly you to Apple, and you do an interview there. And the only way that you know that you got that you made it is they either tell you at the table, thank you for coming out, and they fly you home, or they walk you around the place in order to be able to show it to you. So if you get it, they show it to you, and then you go, where's everybody else that was supposed to be here for an interview? And they go, they didn't make it this far. That's basically how that works. So everybody has different hiring practices, but looking at their credentials should always be the first thing on there, not who they are, what they look like, anything like that. It's the reason I don't like, there's some companies in the past, I don't know if this is a thing anymore, but it used to be, you used to have to put a picture with your resume.
I don't think that's a thing anymore.
It is with LinkedIn. If you think about LinkedIn, which where everybody goes to LinkedIn for their stuff, they already know what the individual looks like ahead of time. So if you're going to a headhunter in order to be able to find new people to come in, or recruiters, depending on where you're from, what they're called, you go in and find that person. They've already know what that person looks like, and usually the recruiter is the one that does the interview then. So it's very interesting. But I'm hoping this culture changes. I'm hoping the culture changes at Riot.
Well, they did tweet out that they have listened and they're going to work towards it, and they have not said anything on their Twitter since that day.
That's good.
Which they retweeted or did something almost every day since then, but from that day on, it's been silence, radio silence from them. Which I wouldn't. Hopefully, they get like a fucking Mr. Guard guy to walk through the halls, and every time they try to say something, oh, you're at work, shut the fuck up. Oh, okay. It's professionalism now. Got it? If we get another one of these stories, it's gonna be like a PR nuke going off for a second time.
I think what you have to watch out for is if you go into, like you're talking about the guarding part of it, you have to make sure that you're not killing creativity in some way. Because part of...
But you can't be like, this fart joke makes me more
no,
creative.
You can't be a
well,
dick.
I'm sure they'll probably get like classes and whatnot.
You still have to you're going to have to go through some classes and do
I
things
think
like that,
one of the things that could benefit them is just recording for a week without, like, basically, we're going to do this at some point, so the staff doesn't know when it is, recording the office for a week, and then having their PR people show them the highlight reel, basically, and be like, all right, you see this? Jimmy, you're going to get fired for this. You see this? Bill, stop. Also, why do you all have really generic guy names? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Stop being assholes. This is all of your bad behavior. This was over the course of a week when you didn't know we were watching. Now you know. Stop it.
But that's going to have to... Somebody is going to have to crack the whip, because then...
Hire me. I'm good at that.
If they're going to be a bunch of frat boys in the boys club, they're going to get all pissy about it. Oh, you're fucking just cracking down because someone's feeling got hurt and blah, blah, blah. You want to get fired? You can shut the fuck up and leave.
You want me to hurt your feelings or hurt your paycheck? Now shut up.
It kind of depends on how somebody feels about their job at that point. Because if it's one of those where if you're good at what you do, you have a choice. You still could be an asshole or a nice person, but you can be really good at what you do. There's been a lot of proof of that lately. So that person can go, I need to move on from this location because obviously people are going to think that I'm the asshole that did all this stuff because I probably was the asshole. I've got, I'm going to change the way that I am and move on, or I'm not going to change the way I am and I'm going to move on.
You get fired and move on.
But just avoid the firing. But the same thing is, you should look at, if you're hiring a company like, if you're at a company like Riot, then you should feel privileged to work at a company like Riot. Mm-hmm. And it depends on the environment that you're set up from.
Unless you're a woman, apparently.
Well, I agree with that. But everyone there should make it to where, let's say that everything was kosher, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Then everybody should be to work.
Yeah, it should be one of the best places to work. And unfortunately, they're making it to where it's not okay to work there.
Yep.
And that's where, when you have an environment like that for anybody, because I would be scared if I was gay and worked there.
Ooh.
Because
that makes sense too. Because boys club, the frat mentality, if they're already sexist towards the women, that probably means
they will spew out gay jokes like there's no end in sight. Just because they think it's funny, they're not trying to be offensive. They're just being funny and stupid.
Yeah, but it means that they went all through their college and high school lives with nobody around them going, okay, but you understand why that is offensive to people, right?
It's because people like that surround themselves with people like that, so that nobody's going to be like, yo, dude, you shouldn't say that. You're going to be like, oh, man, that's hilarious.
Until you hire somebody like me, and I'm like, shut your mouth, Joe. That's not funny.
Their PR department is not strong enough. They don't have a backbone whenever they see something going on, being like, hey, we're going to have a talk. But it could be people not coming
forward, too. I mean, it's been...
that's...
To be fair, this day and age, you've got a lot of people that are scared of the company they work for. One of the parts of the
article, there was actually a part of the article about trying to report that stuff to PR, and they would actually shove it off. They would be like, oh, it's just somebody complaining about being sensitive.
Nope.
Oh, it's just a woman complaining
about
a joke made, and they would just brush it off.
I will take care of these problems.
One of the parts that really got my attention, too, is you had, and it might have been the main woman they first started talking about, that she was trying to present a project and presented it to a group of men, and they just kind of didn't even pay attention, nothing like that. And then her friend, who was Mel,
had the same presentation.
Did the exact same presentation, and they loved it. They thought it was the greatest idea ever. And he started crying because she had told him ahead of time, they're gonna. This is how they treat me, and I'm telling you now, this is how they treat me. And this guy's crying because of it, because he's like, holy shit,
She's
right. This is really the environment that she's working
She got
in.
a lot of backlash. Basically, her presentation was, why do the women in League have to be,
super
this,
sexy?
Yeah, this perfect model. And she got harassed about it for a while. Like, well, why would anybody want to play an unattractive female character? Oh, that's so lame. Are you just mad because you're not pretty? And it's like, Jesus fucking God,
if somebody said you're just mad because you're not attractive, I'd be like, let me get the mirror for you, bro.
Yeah. Well, some women just get beaten down so far they just can't, be aggressive. You have a very aggressive
Well, and I also
mindset.
understand wanting to keep your job, too. If you know that this is how these guys are and your management is and everything, but you still need to put food on the table and pay the bills, I get the being afraid to go to the company kind of deal. It's just...
Well, and here's the thing
shame.
is, at the end of the, there's a better way to say this back to whoever presents whatever's going on. You have to look at who's purchasing your product, and if you think that there is somebody that is, because there are people that are attractive to different things. There's going to be people that are attracted to blondes and brunettes and whatever, male, female, doesn't matter. One's with shirts off, one with shirts on when it comes to the guys, because sometimes that happens too in video games. But it's one of those where you go, okay, 90% of all of our female characters, actually 100% of all of our female characters are very attractive for whatever species or humanoid character style that they are. But they all fit one model type. We need to vary that model type.
And the dudes are more varied.
Which they have
not.
done. By the way, they have done. Like, that was years ago that they have started changing their model type. Like, I think they've released 1 or 2 stereotypical attractive females in the last several years now. Most of them are pretty unique individuals. Like, I mean, I think Jinx was the last sexy champ that they got, but she's crazy too.
The couple that came out together. She's
Zion
hot.
Rakan?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's already taken. Like,
Well,
that's part of
yeah,
the couple.
but I
And
mean,
they did the
she's
same
still
thing for
convenient,
Rakan, too.
'cause-
He's a shirtless, like, stud with,
he is,
his
but I mean-
six-pack, and he's...
I'm sorry, like, and we'll go back to this tells you how old I am. If you take Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston when they were still together, or Angelina Jolie, throw whoever you want in there, which I didn't think she's attractive, Jennifer Aniston, but that's my personal opinion. If you take that couple and put them together, it's not going to keep every woman in the world from going, Brad Pitt's hot.
Yeah, just knowing they're taken doesn't matter. So yes,
Yeah,
they have released conventionally attractive women.
Yeah, I know, but they did it in like a couple. They gave you an attractive woman and an attractive man too. Like, I mean, they gave you both sets. They're like, this is for the men and the women, and this is for the men and the women. Take your choice, whichever one you prefer. So, I mean, in that sense,
of the female characters in that game that are not what you would think of as pretty, and the only one that I can think of right now, or the only ones I can think of off the top of my head, are Poppy, because she's basically a Smurf with a giant hammer, and Lulu, who is a purple Smurf that's on LSD constantly.
Oh, the Akali rework.
Akali rework. She's hot.
Whew, yeah,
she is conventionally hot.
Yeah, they took a spider and turned her
not
super
unattractive
attractive
for her species. Like, I'm looking these up.
I just can't. She's a Smurf with a hammer.
First of all,
Lulu.
Lulu, yeah, she's purple. They're Yordles.
Ilaoi.
So I would
agree with you on Lulu.
I don't know.
Lulu reminds me of
Ilaoi too. Karma.
Karma's pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty, but she's not your conventional fucking misfortune figure.
Well,
it's
no,
like
she's
super
not misfortune
busty
figure, but I mean, they still made her a thin, attractive female.
Tristana.
And I'm not saying that you have to have like a fat, chunky, ugly person. I don't know how to better word that. I'm not saying that's what
they
you
need
should
to
do.
be athletic based on what they're doing.
Well, I mean, athletic.
I mean,
Jinx is on the thin
and-
side,
well, to be
which I
fair,
think
you
is
have
fine.
different athletic builds. There
Yeah.
are the ones that are going to be more.
Well, and you've got-
I guess aerobic
It's
looking.
thicker.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Zoe.
and you've got a couple that are thicker. Riven's a little on the thick side. Sejuani is on the thick side.
Yes.
Which is fine. I think that both of them are very attractive. I would definitely talk to them.
Quinn. Quinn's interesting. Leona.
Yeah, Leona.
Zoe.
Yeah. Leona's still conventionally pretty though. I don't really think that you could get away with saying that she's not.
Well, they're all to be fair, they're all pretty. Like, even the male characters, they're all.
But they gave more variation originally to the male characters, because you've got big dudes like Jarvan and Garen, who are like big buff bros, and then you've got people like Twisted Fate, who's going to be your thinner, lean build, and then you've even got the smaller side, like Ezreal, you know? So, I mean, you ran the gamut with the dude characters on looks, as far as the actual humans go, but, I mean, you also got non-human things like, I don't know what Bard really counts as. But
he's an astral thing.
Yeah.
But they started to change it because, I mean, you got Elise, who is a spider lady.
She's
and they
a
made
sexy
her super
spider, though, and then they reworked her a little.
And then they did the same thing with Zyra, who is the plant lady. They turned her into a super. And they started to
the version of Poison Ivy.
Yeah. Exactly. But they tried to turn away from every time they come up with a female concept to make her into that super stereotypical sexy thing.
Do you think part of it's the art style they started with?
Maybe.
No, because they started with Annie is one of the most original champions. Like, she's one of the original 40, and she's a little kid.
Annie? Well, but she's kind of a singularity, though.
Zoe, she's a little... Well, okay, she's first of all, she's like 2,000 or 10,000 years old, but yeah, she's like a child.
Looking at what his original question was based on what they started out with, which is no, but I think at the same time, part of the knee-jerk reaction to I need to draw a superhero character that's going to fight in this, you know, mythical fantasy setting, your mind immediately goes to things like superhero comics and all of the original fantasy works and things like that, where it is these scantily clad, super sexy, you know, vivacious ladies and these big buff, you know, intimidating dudes, and then that starts tapering away so that you can fit more dude stereotypes, because originally the audience was dudes for a lot of that stuff, and they wanted to be able to see themselves in those roles, but the women were still secondary. They've still got to be hot because it's aimed towards dudes. So I don't think it's necessarily where they started, but it was that mindset. I would argue the fact
that
it's hard to say.
Guys that are in, I'm thinking of this in my head of how I've seen athletic women and athletic men, and athletic men tend to have different shape depending on what they do. So, like for example, if you look at a professional soccer player who's very athletic, doesn't necessarily have the same body type as a professional American football player or a baseball player.
Yeah.
And with women, a volleyball player and a soccer player might be built about the same. Golfers are different, but I don't know how athletic a golfer really is. But
oh, here comes the hate letters. Sorry, golfers.
I like golf. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know how athletic you actually have to be in order to be able to play golf, because it's
I don't think they hit
like
the
your
gym
upper
4
body
times out
have
of
to be good, but I don't necessarily have to
I get what you're saying. There's different body types based on what you're doing, which is why you're okay with somebody like Miss Fortune, who just runs around with her pistols all the time, to be, you know, super svelte, versus somebody like Sejuani, who rides a big beast and carries a giant mace, you know?
Yeah, she's definitely a little bit more built than...
There's obviously a difference there. The range of differences was very thin for a long time. And they finally gotten to where they're diversifying a little bit.
But still not quite enough. I mean, they do stereotypical body archetypes and then make a character out of it. Like, I mean, the stereotypical male archetype, and then they made Pike, who is the newest champion. Like, he's like, you know, your skinny kind of guy, but he does different things. I mean, they could have made him into a different archetype, like make him all build and do the same thing.
Ezreal's small. He's thin. He's you know, wiry, I guess.
And I think you're gonna have that. I think it just because everybody's body build is different.
Yes.
But I don't think looking at some of the pictures that I have on here, though, like what you did, Leona seems to be from the pictures anyway, and what she had on, it seems to be smaller chested, more not as much hip, so straight.
Leona was actually based on that artist's wife.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's based on a real person, to be honest with you. And then you have some of the ones that you saw that look very scantily clad, bigger breasted. You know what I mean?
Zyra and her little like plant covers, her leaves.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Leona was like the change, the shift, because they instead of them just being scantily clad and whatnot, she's decked out in fucking full armor and whatnot, and she's just like, I'm gonna smash the shit out of your face with this thing. So
right, and she looks scary. I mean, I don't mean like she looks attractive, but I would be scared of her. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's
I would
kind
be
of thing.
Okay with dying from her, but I don't want to die. So
no, you wouldn't.
Run.
You would get upset every time because basically she's all in. Whenever you see her coming, she's gonna jump on you and kill you immediately, and you're like, fuck. Of course.
I wish more companies would, and I kind of hate to point the light at this way, but I wish that more people would look at Blizzard for stuff like that, for how to make good, varied champions. Because you look at especially the ladies in Overwatch. I mean, you've got everybody from Zarya, who is a big Russian bodybuilder, to somebody like Mei, who's a small, she's not chubby, but she's
thick.
We're gonna go with a thick girl.
Yeah, we're going with thick.
And I mean, you've got a nice run of.
To be fair, she's got like a freaking coat on and.
Well, yeah, but I mean.
not if you're in pajama.
Yeah, pajama. She's thick.
She's thick.
And I mean.
That's bad.
I mean, look at Tracer too. Comparatively, she's like the skinny little.
Skinny. And the dudes are the same way. You've got Reinhardt being the giant one. You've got average ones like 76 and Reaper, and then you've got people on the small side like Lucio.
Well, actually, that's in my head. That's what I was kind of thinking about, because you have people like Reinhardt, who I think of as like the big barbarian style guy, right? Like
big old guy on armor.
Big. He could have a belly, but it wouldn't matter because the rest of him is just going to destroy you.
I mean, look at Roadhog, Junkrat.
Roadhog and Junkrat.
But to be fair, they made Roadhog look like a kind of a scary little beast, or
He's
scary
a
giant
big beast.
Scary giant beast, where if they had made him have an attractive face or something like if you put.
Well, we don't get to see his face. You never know. He could be gorgeous under that mask.
Right.
We don't know that.
He's got his little man bun thing going on back there.
Probably not.
I mean, but you don't know that though. He could take off. Maybe that's why he wears it, is because he doesn't want to make Junkrat feel uncomfortable. They're besties, and he's got like this. You take it off, and it's the handsome Squidward face. You're like, oh, wow, I did not expect that.
That's an ugly ass face.
Right. No, I agree with you though. I think Blizzard's done a really good job of creating different champions that are heroes in this case. Different heroes that were a variety of different shapes and sizes and just you can kind of relate to. I mean,
yes.
one's a hamster and another one's a big giant fucking gorilla. So.
Yep.
So
well, I mean, I know we kind of got off the original point, which is Riot being sexist at their base, but I feel like some of their art style would shift if they were not quite so boys.
And I'll be interested to see again over the next couple years how that adjusts. There are different art styles, and do you change champions the way they look because of that?
I think you've got, especially the older champions, it's hard to change them. They've done it a couple of times.
They changed their lore at one point, didn't
they? Yeah, they've done some changes and graphical updates, and some of it is just an update, and some of it's like, okay, now this person looks completely different.
Yeah, like Akali, who they just released. Yeah. She went from like she went from your typical assassin to hot damn. Yeah. I mean, the first time they released the art to that, everyone's just like,
"Who's that?"
But wow.
We'll see. We'll have to
who's
see.
the pirate one? One like a pirate.
Misfortune?
It was a dude.
Gangplank.
Gangplank.
Yeah, Gangplank.
Yeah, he went from
oh my god.
He went from like Cookie Monster hand in his chest to fucking.
He went from like Captain Crunch to like Captain Jack, basically. So yeah. Some of them have gotten pretty significant boosts in art. And I think that that's okay.
They remind me of the old dime store romance novels, like the covers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the art. That's what the art reminds me of. I was like, this is just our dime store novel shit now, right?
Well, we'll have to see. But we are in an hour and a half, by the way.
Yeah, so we're going to have to...
I told you, Chicken. Chicken told me earlier today, he's like, there's only like 3 or 4 things to talk about. It's going to be a short show. I'm like, that'd be great because I have to record a bunch. But you know that now that you've said that, we're going to be here for an hour and a half. at an hour and a half.
He should have known based on the conversation that we had last week about this article. About
to be fair, I thought we were going to be able to move through those 3 articles real quick because I didn't find them too important, so I thought we were just going to be able to hit them and drop them, move on to the next, hit them and drop them, move to the next, and then get into this and have a half an hour to discuss it. But we talked about WoW, and then we talked about the articles.
That's fine,
and then,
but now we do need to wrap up. So
yes.
We appreciate it. Everyone that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Oh my God, words. You can also check out Grif.
At Grif Slanum.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
And of course, Baka, you can check out at Baka Pickle. Hopefully he'll be back next week. We'll see what he does, as long as he doesn't electrocute himself or end up with some type. Well, actually, it'd be kind of cool if he does end up with a little thing on his beard.
No, don't do that.
You know, but whatever. Also, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel where you go on there and see her do Let's Play. She's currently in Uncharted 2.
Yes.
Playing through it. And if you've never watched one of her Let's Plays, please do so because they are hilarious and she dies a lot.
We're coming up on the end. You want to see some death. I know what happens. I know the boss fight at the end of this one. I'm going to die 11 billion times.
I had no problems with that the first time I went through, and so many problems the second and third time I went through.
The more you know, the worse you are.
Make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313. Go on there, watch Chicken as he streams. Just about
all sorts of WoW for the next week
or
two.
He's got WoW going on currently. Every day except Friday and Saturdays, so he's not hard to find. Go on there, watch it. Go back and watch the VODs as well, so you can kind of catch up. If you're a person like me that's not a big fan of WoW because you just never really got into it, but you want to watch some fun gameplay, make sure you watch them on that too, because it is fun to watch everybody go through and
come on, we're awesome. Even if you don't like the game, it's not.
Well, and ask questions in the chat, guys. That's why the chats are there. Also go to mixer.com/MDB Oaktree. I am currently playing through We Happy Few, and I don't know. I think I've got Wednesday off this week. No, I did Wednesday this past week, so it'll probably Thursday that I'll be off. Anything else, then should be good. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Right. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
See ya.
Bye.